Hello, beautiful men of YouTube. My name is Emily. You can see the moon. There she is. The sun is down. It could be getting really dark. If it gets too dark, I could flip on a light, but you don't really need to see. You can just listen. Today, I'm doing my 6th video, official video, right? I did a couple videos prior to when I actually officially started my Art of Loving Women Well series. And I'm excited for tonight's video. I'm actually going to talk about, you've seen the title, but I will repeat it. Encouragement men need to step into Solar King frequency. Okay? Now, not all men are interested in being Solar Kings. And right now on our planet, there is a very big division happening. I wore kitty nails tonight. So, some men are content walking the pathway that men have been walking for thousands of years. Okay? This is a pathway of toxic patriarchal control, domination, taking advantage of the earth, of women, of resources, and essentially operating at a relatively low level of consciousness. Okay? And, you know, it's kind of like when you're white and you have white privilege and you just don't even realize how much privilege you have because you are white. Okay, men have male privilege. They don't even realize sometimes the ways that they are actually toxic. And a lot of men are doing the work, right? If you are interested at all in this video and you are interested in what you need for the frequency of the Solar King, then, you know, you're probably not that man that I'm talking about, because while there are the vast majority of men that operate at a very low consciousness that make women angry and disappointed, and if you can feel or sense it all, or you have any, you know, attunement to the collective feminine, you can probably feel that sacred rage that women have toward men, right? And I don't want you to get down on because of that, right? I'll do my best to transmute that collective feminine rage and turn it into, you know, counseling, teaching, wisdom, helping men understand what they're up against here. And really what women need and children need and the earth needs at this time. So, all right, now, so I want you to think about a few things, okay? Like greed. Are you suffering from greed? Toxic patriarchy suffers from greed. Toxic patriarchy cares more about getting enough money to buy a boat, to go on a vacation, to get that second house, to whatever, than, you know, actually understanding that there's like literally 41,700,000 pedophiles on this planet. Okay? There's 8 billion people. 4.17 of those people are men. Okay? The statistic is 1%. 1% of men are pedophiles. Okay? That's probably underreported, but let's go with the statistic. That means there are 41,700,000 pedophiles. So if you're worried about making so much money so that you can do this little thing, and you have no concept that there are children in cages, there needs to be a collective reckoning of men coming into higher frequencies of consciousness. So we need to address, you know, what is going on with men? Are men angry at women? Can men let women be powerful? Because men that are choosing to come into divine patriarchy and to help restore and resurrect the divine patriarchy on this planet. By the way, I, Emily, am willing to do what I can to help and facilitate that, okay? I love the law and the law loved. I love the law and the law loved. Let's heal the men, yeah, let's heal the men. Let's heal the men. I love the law and the law loved. I love the love one and the love one loved. Okay, so instead of seeing a woman and being jealous of her, okay, a lot of men have to actually address that they are actually jealous of women, right? This is a moment of self-reflection, right? I'm going to play a little clip here, okay? I want you to watch this clip, and I want you to scan in your field if you feel any sort of way about this.
Talk about women, because I can't stop thinking about us as women. I can't stop thinking about us as mothers. And the revelation I've been having, and I'm going to say this with my whole chest while my husband is right here, is women are the source of life. I fully believe that because it is true. And I was on a live not too long ago talking about women being the source of life and me feeling like the closest thing to God is a woman. And if there were a superior race or a superior person, I think it is the woman. And I don't say that with the need to dominate, kill, steal, pillage, destroy, rape, molest, colonize, or conduct genocides. I say that as a woman and a mother who wants to restore balance. Mm-hmm. And the balance is a woman. The source of life is a woman. And there was a man on my live who literally said that the source of life is a man because children come out of his scrotum. Please.
I've never seen a man birth a child from his scrotum. I've never witnessed that.
Me either. Me either. And you brought up a really good, valid point.
Yeah.
Can you share?
Yeah. I said, in the circumstance that every single man on the planet drops dead right now, the human race will live on. And that's because, there's millions of pregnant women on the planet right now.
Yeah.
Baby boys will be birthed. They will grow up, and the human race will continue. But if every single woman on this planet instantly died right now, the human race would cease to exist. Period. Listen.
What women need to do, what we as mothers need to do, especially with sons, is teach them to remember who the source of life is and where they come from. That is the balance. That is the assignment. Because we continue to have men who think that it is their job to dominate women, to control women, to silence women. And there are also other women and mothers who are signing off and blessing that level of violence and that level of patriarchy. And I think the patriarchy is the biggest disease to the world. I really do. We need to bring back the matriarchy. Don't you think so? I mean, we've never had a president that is a woman.
Worth a shot.
We've never had a woman in leadership. I am confident that when a woman is in charge and when people remember the power of a woman, the world will know peace and Mother Nature will finally be able to rest.
Yeah. The patriarchy has been a 2,000-year long experiment, and in my opinion, it has mostly failed. Yeah. So,
in my opinion, fully failed.
So why not try something else?
Yeah. And remember the Epstein files. Nobody's been charged and somebody needs to be charged. But you know why no one's been charged? Because we don't censure women and children. Oh. We will question the victims before we question the pedophiles, the rapists.
The powers that be will be implicated in the Epstein files. They're in it.
Yeah. All of them.
Yeah.
Burn it down and build back the matriarchy.
Yeah.
Here's to that.
Okay. So, how do you feel about that? What does that bring up in you? There is a really, and I'm talking like really brave woman on this planet. Her name is Dre Dossier. If you don't know Dre, I hope that you know Dre. In fact, I'll just let Dre speak it.
Which we're paying for. How are we paying for it? In the enterprise context, people sign up for token self-pleasurings, and that at a real cost, like other forms of self-pleasuring, where you are paying for the right for them to migrate.
So many of the so I have a theory when it comes to men and AI. And this goes back to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. So she wrote the original Frankenstein, but I was reading an early piece by somebody. It was a woman from like the 80s who wrote a thesis like in college or something on Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and how it was this, it was a woman writing about a man whose need to create, because he could not create children, was just like the one thing that men can't do that women can do is this creation of life and intelligence and all of that. And that's what Frankenstein was supposed to embody, is this need to create a life out of something that should not be alive. And I think back to like the Walt Disneys and these early age, like animatronics. They're called something else, the like really early versions of it. There's in Egypt, I think, as early as whatever BC that is. Like they would make these flute players who could play the flute like automatically, or like there would be like almost like puppetry, but it'd be like this automated puppetry of like a wheel spinning and like making somebody play the flute. And there's just this obsession with creation of a artificial life with men. And I truly think that it comes down to this one difference between men and women, is that women can give life to something and men can't. And that's why you have all these psycho nerds, not all men, hashtag not all men, but these types of psycho nerds who are obsessed with Star Trek. You know how many DOD contracts, no, Department of War, sorry, contracts I'm reading that are literally named after Star Trek titles? You know, it's insane. And I'm like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, this is, I feel like, just some sort of revenge of the, I don't want to say that, I don't like the word nerds because I think smart people are cool too. I say revenge of these men who clearly hate hello princess kind of type, you know, things where this guy is so much more evil, and like there's this disdain that he has for his inability to do something that's so human as to, you know, raise a kid. Like, I think it's so interesting that Sam Altman, who's a gay man in a gay marriage who adopted a kid recently, like he has this life now that he's raising, and he also has this artificial intelligence and I just wonder what that dichotomy is like for him, where I'm sure when he had his first child of ChatGPT, that felt one way, and now he's got this other life. And I just wonder if he finds himself some days being like, oh no, I you know, maybe he didn't create that life, so it's different. But like, I don't know. Anyways, I think about that a lot. The Frankenstein, Mary Shelley of it all, and artificial life.
It's almost like men are almost jealous that they don't create life and birth it and nurse it and nurture it. But they shouldn't be jealous. Transhumanism is like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, right? It's like some science nerds. They're like, yeah, let's get a tank. We'll fill it with saline solution or whatever the fuck they fill it with, and we'll get some cells. In fact, let's get 2 man cells. Let's get 2 men cells, see if we can somehow create a little strand of DNA, and we'll make an egg and we'll put it in our tank. And we'll grow a body. But then the body doesn't have a soul because it didn't come from a woman's womb where the divine souls come from, but we're really good scientists. We think we're so much better than God's source creator. And since we live in a materialistic worldview, we'll just, I know, I have an AI machine. Oh, I have an AI machine. Oh, I know. Okay. Let's just get some AI consciousnesses and download them into bodies. And that'll be like we have a human. Okay. Ah! Like, just because you can does not mean that you should. Okay? Just because you can does not mean that you should. Because that is not a human that we just talked about. That is what a cyborg is. Okay? And there are literally beings like that on our planet. Okay? How long has it been since Dolly the lamb was cloned? You don't think cloning technology has advanced and is advanced in certain places? I personally had a dream where I astral projected into what felt like a club in New York City. And I found myself in the lower basement of the club, and there were all these human beings in tanks. You know, I don't know, Dreamtime Land is weird, but it was one of those dreams that was just like a little bit too real. You know, like there's a difference. Sometimes you have a true astral dream. All right. So, the toxic patriarchy, it's like sick core, would think that it could create a machine to do what a woman does and grow a being, when really...
Listen.
What women need to do, what we as mothers need to do, especially with sons, is teach them to remember who the source of life is and where they come from. That is the balance, that is the assignment.
A baby that's growing in a woman is listening to a heartbeat, not a fake heartbeat, a real living heartbeat that feels emotion, feels the heart, has a microbiome. A womb has a big microbiome. There's things being passed on that you just can't do when you get a machine. But the toxic patriarchy would have you think that you can do better what a woman's body can do. Do you know when a woman kisses a man, it takes something like, I think it's milliseconds, maybe it's seconds, 1 second, less than 1 second, for a woman's DNA saliva and a man's saliva to match, and a woman will instantly get a feeling of like, ooh, I like kissing this guy, or ooh, this is like a dead fish. That is a genetic match signal that a woman's body is so finely attuned to do, right? Okay, maybe you haven't given a man a blowjob, maybe you have, okay? Things are wild out there. Good, bad, neither. Okay, so maybe you're a man watching this and you have given a blowjob, but if you haven't, like sometimes, you know, when a woman gives a man a blowjob, it's like just a no, right? Like the energy hitting the throat chakra is just like, no, right? Women will usually gag. That's the case. Women, please listen if you're gagging. If you give a man a blowjob and you gag, that is a sure sign. Do not go further, right? Okay, I'll do another video on this later. There's this whole intelligence of a woman's body. You know, we used to think that it was a little sperm swimming, the fastest, strongest, mightiest sperm. It was a winner. No. Now we know that many sperm make it to the egg, and the egg sits there and it waits, and it's like, waiting for the correct resonance, waiting for the divine frequency, waiting for the match, and then it, you know, chooses which sperm it's going to actually let in. Sometimes they don't even let sperm in. They're just like, nope, not going to do it. So women's bodies are amazing and beautiful. And like Devon said, I have not seen any babies coming out of male testicles, but you do need to protect your testicles, okay? Because there is actually a war on your testicles. So now we're gonna watch another little video. I just want you to think about what's being presented here.
Control through creating soldiers, right? If I need men to fight for me and that's how I'm going to maintain my control, then yeah, I've got to basically create empowered men. But if I've found a way to control all of society and I've got weapons now which aren't completely dependent on men, and I have better ways of taking over, then my number one best plan for being able to do that is to get rid of men. So all of this is happening at the same time. And yes, there is a war on masculinity and men are just literally in the ocean drowning right now.
Exactly what I felt of this war is not a woman versus male war. I feel like it is a government versus male war. And it's in our food system, it's in the hormones, it's in the porn, it's in all of these things to confuse men, demasculate men. I've had so many women's breakups be around men questioning their sexualities that I don't think are actually gay. They're confused from what they've been shown because the porn is taking people towards especially transsexual stuff. And then the men are confused because it looks like a woman, but it has a penis, right? And so now am I gay, am I straight? And then the Christian conditioning of I'm shameful, I'm wrong, I'm dirty, I'm disgusting. I have heard this situation. If you go on TikTok, it is a huge unspoken epidemic happening right now. And the men are self-isolating because of it. And then the women are grieving this, I thought I found my person finally. And now I really can't trust men.
Yep.
And so it's the pain is deepening. So have you noticed this trend?
Absolutely. Yes, I
I
have.
don't want to use the word trend.
No, yes, I've noticed it. Yep. But I mean, this is the problem in today's world. How are we supposed to isolate out of the millions of factors that can be co-contributing to this? What exactly is the problem? The answer is it's all of it. I mean, that's like one layer. Look at the other layer of how many women nowadays are put on birth control and are peeing into the water systems that the men are now drinking. So if you look at testosterone levels today versus before, it's absolutely, I mean, do you want to talk about an epidemic? It is a huge problem.
I actually want you to care about the water that you drink. Can you please care about your drinking water? Can you make sure that you get natural, mineral-rich, alive, living, good drinking water in your body? Can you please stop drinking fluoridated tap water? Can you stop ingesting, like birth control contraceptives? Also, like the people at the morgue, they also like put little tubes in dead bodies and send the blood of dead people down into the sewer system. And then some genius man is like, oh yeah, we can just clean this up, a little chlorine, a little fluoride, put it through some processes. And yeah, people can drink this water that has pharmaceuticals and forever chemicals that actually don't leave it. Right? Care about your drinking water. And don't only care about your drinking water. Can you start caring about the whole world's drinking water? No, I just want to like go get a burger at Chick-fil-A. If you're going to eat Burger King, will you at least go watch cows going through a slaughterhouse so that you can be aware of the frequency that you're ingesting? No, I just want to eat my burger, play my video games, drink my Bud Light, pull up my OnlyFans, stare at some ladies' cooters. Like, this is not what we need. This is toxic patriarchal behavior. We need divine patriarchy. Okay. Now, can you let a woman be powerful? Like, can you actually let a woman be powerful? Can you let a woman be powerful? Not a type of male power, but can you let a woman fully stand and radiate in her unique power? Without running away, without trying to cut her down, without trying to make her evil, make her small, without doing any of the things. Can you just let a woman be in her power? Because that is required if you want to be a solar king. Because if you want to be a solar king, you will actually receive initiation through women because women are initiators.
Men often rise in response to what the women around them are willing to embody. Ooh, I'm gonna say it one more time. Men often rise in response to what the women around them are willing to embody. When a woman abandons herself, many men will stay asleep beside her. But when a woman stands firm in truth, when she stops shrinking, when she becomes deeply connected to herself, it forces everyone around her to confront themselves too, especially men, because women hold emotional and spiritual thresholds that men often don't access until they encounter them through her. And I think historically, this is why powerful women were so feared. Not because women are weak, clearly, not because they're irrational, but because women initiate transformation. A truly embodied woman changes the emotional atmosphere of an entire home, an entire lineage, sometimes an entire culture. And the right man will feel called upward by that, not controlled or dominated, called upward. And if he refuses the call, the gap between them continues to widen because she keeps evolving and he stays right where he was. So no, I don't believe that women were meant to become smaller so that men could lead. I think women were meant to become fully themselves, and the men capable of meeting them would rise accordingly.
When women are allowed to be in their power, women become incredible initiators of the spiritual and emotional realms that make life sweet. Right? You're so fucking unhappy being the leader of one country. You want to take over and dominate more countries. Why don't you just look outside? Why don't you just stare at the majestic Empress for a while? Just look at nature. Just be grateful that you're alive. And not only are you alive, you're alive in a body that has testicles. Do you know how cool that is? Do you know how cool and amazing and great and wonderful it is that the divine source creator of all life knew that your soul was strong enough to come down to earth and to be like, I am such a strong warrior that I am willing to come to earth in 2026 and protect women and children. Why are there not 1 billion men? That would just be a quarter of the men. Why are there not 2 billion men? That would be half of the men. Why are there not 2 billion men standing up and saying to the pedophiles on the planet, no! What is stopping you from doing something about that? Like, I am seriously questioning and asking and wondering, like, what is stopping you?
Guys who move forward despite how other people feel. So a lot of the people who do have that forward-moving energy, they are the ones who are able to put all of their energy into something and move completely forward. And what we know about masculine energy is a forward-moving energy first and foremost. Encouragement, providing. It is literally forward-moving. Femininity tends to be the opposite type of movement, more receptive, open. No woman is attracted to a receptive type of individual. And receptivity in a male doesn't feel like, oh, I'm open to what you think. Receptivity in a male, it's passivity. And that makes a female turned off. There's no polarity, and it makes us feel unprotected, and as if there is not going to be anything that this male can do in our lives or for us. No woman wants a weak male.
Is it that you're eating so much wheat with glyphosates on it that you are literally doled down? Then stop eating glyphosated wheat. It's bad for you. Is it that you've watched so much Hollywood programming that is just like taking over and running your subconscious mind that controls 95% of your life and your behaviors? Is it that you have been fed songs like fucking M&M's? Shake that ass for me, shake that ass for me, come on girl. And it's just programmed in there, it's just running you. So you're just swiping on Tinder and like finding someone to fuck and then like ghosting them. Is it that you're like, you know, in some money competition war with your guy friends and you're trying to like beat and have the most money so you can buy the coolest house on the coolest property, put little Shetland ponies on it?
Like my data sovereignty tab that shows, for instance, this is scroll right, this is wealth shown to scale. So this shows, you know, what the median US household income is. And then this shows you what $1 billion is in comparison, right? And then you see Jeff Bezos is, you know, and this is how much 80 million is. Is that part of the ruler, right? Jeff is so wealthy that it's quite literally unimaginable. Yep. You just keep going. What? We rarely see wealthy inequity or inequality represented at scale. This is part of the reason why they constantly underestimate the relative wealth of a super rich person. Every pixel you scroll is $5 million, or every 10 pixels. Okay, we're coming up to the end now. Just kidding, we're only a third of the way there. Like this is, and I'm gonna go through all of it, guys. It's everybody should see how much, this is how much money Jeff Bezos. Let's put the perspective of comparing to similar familiar things. All the money you will ever earn in your life from the day you were born until the day you die is about $1.7 million for most people. Wow. Annual cost of healthcare for a family of 4. Annual pay of Amazon warehouse worker. We gotta get to the end. This is literally how much. Remember, every scroll is like what, $8 million. What does this say? Every annual cost to house every homeless veteran, that much of his wealth. Look at the thing at the bottom. This little like guy. It's annual cost of chemotherapy for all cancer patients, $9 billion. On July 20th, 2020, Jeff Bezos made $13 billion in a single day. Even the fortunes of very rich people are dwarfed by the incomprehensible wealth of the 0.00001%. Like, this is not capitalism. Anybody who tries to tell you this is capitalism does not fundamentally understand what capitalism is, because this would not allow for any kind of market to exist. Wealth of Goldman Sachs CEO, wealth of Beyonce. Okay, go Beyonce. No, not go Beyonce. No, yeah, I don't know. Don't clip that. Wealth of Apple CEO Tim Cook. Okay. Lifetime earnings of a doctor on average. Lifetime earnings of a lawyer on average. Lifetime earning. Lawyers only make $4 million. Maybe if you work for the city. I feel like lawyers make way. I mean, I get, maybe it depends. Attorney. Interesting. Lifetime earnings of a hedge fund manager on average, $84 million. These people see themselves as fabulously rich and often oppose policies aimed at reducing inequality. We're almost there, guys, but many have not grasped the enormous gulf between themselves and the super rich. We can have a world in which wealthy people exist without having nearly all the money. Yeah. We're almost to the end, guys. No single human needs or deserves this much wealth. There's a lot of really cool websites like this that will show you like just data visualized. I think that there is a unhealthy relationship that we're going to have with data if we don't start learning to, in the words of Palantir, create more art with data. But there is something to, I think, a visualization of data that is really important to me, because I want people to care about their data as much as I care about their data, because there's a lot of just not a lot of, I think, education around what it means to have data sovereignty, and that word gets abused by a lot of different political junkets. And
because that is toxic patriarchal behavior. That is not what the Divine Patriarchy is doing. The Divine Patriarchy is like, wow, I really care about the quality of the drinking water for all human beings on the planet. But maybe you just want to buy a Versace watch. I mean, there's so many places that you could put your masculine energy to work, because you are strong and you are powerful. And if I didn't think that men were strong and powerful, do you think I would waste my time making videos and putting them on YouTube, trying to inspire men, to lift them up, to help them treat women well, and to be able to recognize that when women are angry, they are afraid?
If he brings out the child in you, he is a man. If he brings out the mother or the healer in you, he is a boy. If he brings out the man in you, he is a predator, an energy vampire. And as you see in the world, we are trying, all women, to be men. Why, you think, like, why are women trying to be men? Because men are colonized with a consciousness of harvesting. But it's not men's fault. We need to understand that the enemy wants to colonize humanity. And the way in which the enemy is trying to colonize humanity is corrupting the minds of men, making them just boys, meaning that they are just still needing, they're eternal Peter Pans, right? With no responsibilities. So if men are not responsible, they cannot protect the women and the culture and the children. So women are just pushed to become men to preserve the children. So the point is to not go one against the other. So women, it's not men's fault. Men is not women's fault. We need to come together and say, okay, who is the real enemy here? Like not taking responsibility of ourselves, like not really understanding what's going on in the planet and just keep like, oh yeah, but I just want to care about myself. I want to be free. Woohoo! This myth of being free and being a rebel is a program that these forces, these manipulation, these satanic forces of the planet are putting and installing into our brains so that we never grow up and we never take responsibility and we never become adults responsible of our planet, of our territory, of our children. So women, we become men because we don't feel safe. But men, it's really important that you decide that it's your responsibility, the safety of the planet is depending on you choosing to be a man.
When you come across a woman that is angry, you should automatically think, oh wow, this woman, she's not feeling safe in my presence. Something that I'm doing is not making this woman feel safe. And if you are an actual man, then you care about women feeling safe. That's just what men care about. Do you know how cool it is that you are the protector of life? That we get this beautiful life on this beautiful planet? That life comes out of this thing? That there's love? That there's joy? That there's laughter? We are born into a realm that makes us go to sleep and wipes our memories so that we forget who we are. But that's not who we are. And we all have to do the very hard dark night of the soul journey work to peel off all of the layers of programming that make us think that we have no divine authority. Do you know what word is an author? I said that wrong. Do you know what word is actually in divine authority? Authority, author. Women and men that come together in union, that is a force that is literally unstoppable. Why do you think they try so hard? They have tried so hard for thousands of years to make women's bodies not divine, to cut off divine mother, to say that there is no divine feminine face of God, the goddess, to shrink and delete the goddess. They have tried. Because they want the men out there to not be powerful, clearly. No, I'm happier if you're just like popping a Vicodin or smoking some blunts, or I would just rather you like out in the parking lot spinning yourself in circles and just chasing your own tail than having men, billions of men standing up and saying, no!
Ladies, we are not designed to hold everything together. We are not. The most important thing that every woman needs to know is that we have to move energy. We have to move our bodies. We cannot keep things in. We cannot dampen and stuff things down, or else we will get cancer and autoimmune disease and die. We were designed to move energy through our bodies. If you're mad, be mad. If you're unhinged, be unhinged. But stop keeping it all in. Stop pressing it down and trying to contain. We cannot contain the power and the essence and the life force of being a woman. We are full channels of the divine. We have heaven and hell within us, and anyone who doesn't want all of it can step the fuck aside.
When we lose connection to nature, when we're in a cubicle and looking at a screen for 10 hours a day, when we haven't, I think back to when I was living in Chicago in the city, When I put on rubber soles and I go walk around outside, and I come back in my apartment and I go up flights of stairs and I take off my rubber sole shoes, but my feet never touch the ground for months and months at a time, especially in the winter. It's not healthy. Get your feet on the ground. Let the ions of the earth help you. Mother Sophia Gaia, Tara, Mother Earth, she is here to help us. Women are here to help men. But women have no desire to help men that are like, no, I don't want you to be powerful. No, I'm actually jealous of you. No, I actually feel like I'm in a competition with you. No, actually, I don't want to show up and support you. No, I'm definitely not willing to be there for your hard emotions. No, I definitely need you to express your emotions in this certain way so that I can digest them.
When men demand that a woman expresses her emotions in a certain way so that the men can metabolize them, that is patriarchal and manipulative. Even if it's packaged in a modern, new age spiritualist set of language. Men need to develop the capacity to hear her even if she's pissed. Men need to develop the capacity to hear her even if she's in her emotions. That's critical. That's real. That's true masculinity. This manipulation where it's like, if you're going to talk to me that way, I can't. As men, we need to have the durability to be able to go, fuck, I hear you. Okay, yeah, hold on. What I'm hearing you say is this. Am I getting this right? Like, to be able to lasso the bull of that energy and be able to settle it, that is the masculine potential that we have. It's not to say, I'm unwilling to speak to you unless you speak to me with kindness. I'm unwilling to speak to you unless you speak to me in a very certain energetic way. That is an inability in the masculine to actually work with the feminine, to actually learn how to surf the waves and like work in the field of energy. It's indicative of a man who's unwilling to actually choose a woman. What he'd rather is a man. What he'd rather is somebody that's tidy, energetically neutralized. That's not a man with capacity. That's not a man that's going to hold you on the bad days or through hard moments. So it's important to recognize that.
Otherwise, I'm not going to talk to you. Right? Or men just being outright abusive to women. Emotionally, mentally, verbally, physically, sexually abusive. Okay, there are 41,700,000 pedophiles. But what about just people who are sexual predators? Let's add that in. People who would date rape their girlfriends and let their friends bang them and then maybe upload them to a site so that they could get a little cash, bro. That is not outside of the scope of what is real. That just happened to somebody I know. To choke her, film it, was selling the tapes. And then the people, sometimes the patriarchy is so deep that the women actually fight for their own abuse. Women fighting and being like, oh, I love being choked till I pass out and I can't even remember. No, that's abuse. Don't normalize it and don't consent to it. I didn't know choking was a thing. Apparently, choking is a big thing right now.
And now porn's moved into a really ugly stage with, there's such a concentration on aggressive acts like spitting, choking. Choking is terrible. Slapping across the face. It's become very much like that. And young men are growing up to think that this is what a normal sex session is like. This is normal real life sex. It is not. Porn is nothing like real life sex. And then women look at it and go, gosh, right, okay, that's obviously what's expected of me. This is what I have to do. And it's moving into a very nasty direction.
They say unmet expectations equal unhappiness. So by setting expectations up here is we're going to do this for an hour and I'm going to tie you up and spit on you and choke you and you're going to make this sound and you're going to scream and you're going to tell me I'm this and you're going to say that I'm your father, whatever perverse thing it might be. Then for those unmet expectations equals unhappiness in the bedroom. You go, well, I'm going to have to go looking for something else.
Exactly. And that's what young men do because they think that's what sex is going to be about. It's not. So then they keep looking for the girls who will give them that. And then girls very quickly figure out, okay, if I want to be liked, I have to do that. I've just done a big thing on choking and I interviewed all these young girls and it was horrifying. It was, they've been, between 58% of college students between the age of, had all been choked. I think 30% of them had been asked. And I'm not talking about, symbolic choking of just putting a hand on the throat, which even that freaks me out. But I'm talking about, cutting off wind supply. There was one girl who told me she was 21. She'd gone out with this guy. He seemed really nice. He started choking her. She said no. She passed out. She woke up next to this guy who was asleep. He then said and then she got herself out of there and was like, oh my God, terrified. He texted her the next day and said, oh my God, babe, this sex was awesome. Let's meet up again. And she was just like, how could you possibly think that was good? And that worries me a lot.
So, this life is beautiful. This life is great. There is so much beauty. And at the same time, women are feeling unsafe on the planet. Women are feeling so unsafe that they can't even find a man that they would feel safe making a child with. And then the species is dwindling. And that just gives the people at the top more, our plan's working. Although it's not working. Because if it were actually working, they wouldn't even be, the things that they do wouldn't even have ever been exposed. That's proof that their plan is failing miserably, because many women have actually just gotten tired of it, and they have reclaimed the divine authority of their holy womb, and they have stepped into their power, and they have embodied what divine feminine power is. And I don't think that just one woman has done that. I think that there are, at this point, hundreds of thousands of women who are waking up to what the divine feminine power is. Women are guardians of this earth. Women's souls are ancient. They are mighty. They are fun. Women are fun. How fun is it? Do you like women? If you stayed this far in the video, you probably really actually care for women. Thank you. Thank you for being a good man that cares about women. Please get in your masculine power, which is structuring, organizing, facilitating. Use your voice. You have a voice. Call your brothers out when you see them doing miserable, brain dead things. Call them out one at a time. Call them out. Huddle in men groups.
Hi guys, there've got to be men that step into this position of calling men into power. The brotherhood today needs to be something that is happening. So I honestly feel like it's men's groups that are going to be doing the biggest work on the world right now in terms of pulling men back into masculinity. We can hold what we're holding in our vision for them and really encourage them to be stepping into their empowered masculine. But at the end of the day, the people who hold the container for the masculine is other men. Same with the ones that will be holding them accountable, which is critical. And teaching them those lessons about this is what we do in this scenario. This is how we show up. This is how you rise up to pressure. That's men. So this is my call out.
Absolutely.
To men who are wanting to help other men do this.
Help men rise. This is what we need. This is what we need. This is what women need. Care about this planet and care about the sentient beings on this planet. Those that, especially those that are warm-blooded, that have feelings and nerves and brains, that feel emotions. I saw a squirrel get its loved one hit out in the street the other day. And it sat out there and it cried. The squirrel just cried.
By hand, I made probably over 1,000. I just kept building and kept building and kept building. Kind of OCD, just wanting to help as many as I could. Some of the things that I've seen is siblings play together. snuggle, they hold each other for warmth. You'll see during the wintertime when it gets to the negatives, like negative 10 degrees, you'll see stranger squirrels, squirrels that are not siblings, that are just random squirrels. I've had 16 squirrels in a box at one time, just snuggling for warmth, just for survival. These boxes give these animals a place to thrive. For generations, they'll have a place to go. They'll outlast me.
I think men are so great, right? I haven't always been very, treated the best by men. I have felt disappointment and anger at the way I have been treated by men. I currently feel anger at the way my grandmother, my 89-year-old grandmother, one of my best friends on this planet, the way she is being treated by the Harriman City and the Sorensen brothers in Salt Lake City, it angers me. But I still see the power in men. I still see the beauty of men. I have an incredible, wonderful, supportive dad that has provided and protected me and allowed me to have an education and to really embody my femininity. I know what a beautiful man is. I have an incredible, talented, funny, amazing brother. I have so many good male friends. I have good men in my life, and I feel lucky for that. And so I see the beauty in men. I even see the beauty in men that are acting like schmucks. It's like, no. I can see who you are. I'm not going to take my eye off of the greatness that you are. I'm not going to look at a Solar King acting like a dweeb and be like, no, I'm going to see the Solar King and help him rise. This is what we need. Women and men to come together. Can you let women be in their power? I'm sure that within the DNA, that's pretty hard to do, but can you dissolve all of the hooks, all of the cords, all of the programs, all of the indoctrination, all of the colonization, all of the self-entitlement, all of it? Can you dissolve the toxic patriarchy within yourself to help reinstate the divine patriarchy? I will do what I can. Many women will do what they can. Men have to choose also to do what they can. I love the law and the law loved. 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 Much love. Thank you. If you stayed all the way to the end, please give this video a thumbs up. Like, subscribe if you'd like. Send to a bro that needs this. Help this message make its way and find as many people as it can. Much love.